Windsor, Ontario, AP, police moved in to clear and arrest the remaining protesters near a key U.S. Canadian border bridge early Sunday, trying to end one of the main protests that have broken out across Canada and the world against COVID-19 vaccine mandates and other restrictions. Windsor police said arrests were being made and vehicles were being towed just after dawn near the Ambassador Bridge linking Detroit and Windsor, Ontario, the busiest border crossing to the U.S. Television images showed officers detaining protesters. Only 2 pickup trucks and less than a dozen protesters blocked the road to the bridge before police moved in. Afterward, police barricades remained and it was not immediately clear when the bridge might be opened. Police on Saturday had persuaded demonstrators to move their pickup trucks and other cars that they used at the entrance to the crossing that sees 25% of all trade between the two countries, though it remained closed. In the capital, Ottawa, the ranks of protesters swelled to what police said was 4,000 demonstrators. The city has seen that on past weekends, and loud music played as people milled about downtown where anti-vaccine demonstrators have been encamped since late January. The protests at the bridge, in Ottawa and elsewhere have reverberated outside the country, with similarly inspired convoys in France, New Zealand and the Netherlands, and the U.S. Department of Homeland Security warned that truck convoys may be in the works in the United States. An ex-cabinet minister in Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's government took the unusual step of calling out her former federal colleagues as well as the province and city for not putting an end to the protests. Amazingly, this isn't just Ottawa. It's the nation's capital, Catherine McKenna tweeted. But no one, not the city, the province or the federal government can seem to get their act together to end this illegal occupation. It's appalling, just get your act together. Now. Trudeau has so far rejected calls to use the military, but had said that all options are on the table to end the protests that have affected the economy on both sides of the border. Trudeau has called the protesters a fringe of Canadian society. Ottawa police said in a statement late Saturday that a joint command centre had now been set up together with the Ontario Provincial Police and the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. They said that would beef up enforcement capabilities that had been limited by safety concerns, arising from aggressive, illegal behaviour by many demonstrators, limited police enforcement capabilities. Police earlier issued a statement calling the protest an unlawful occupation and saying they were waiting for reinforcements before implementing a plan to end the demonstrations. Ottawa Mayor Jim Watson declared a state of emergency last week for the capital, where hundreds of trucks remained in front of the Parliament buildings and demonstrators have set up portable toilets outside the Prime Minister's office where Trudeau's motorcade usually parks. Even after protesters' vehicles were removed early Saturday, hundreds more arrived to bolster the crowd and settled into a face-off with police about 2 blocks away, waving flags and yelling. While there were no visible physical confrontations, the crowd still controlled the road to the bridge. On Friday, a judge ordered an end to the blockade of mostly pickup trucks and cars, and Ontario Premier Doug Ford declared a state of emergency allowing for fines of $100,000 Canadian and up to 1 year in jail for anyone illegally blocking roads, bridges, walkways and other critical infrastructure. With the bridge closed, auto plants on both sides have been forced to shut down or reduce production. The standoff came at a time when the industry is already struggling to maintain production in the face of pandemic-induced shortages of computer chips and other supply chain disruptions. In Ottawa, 31-year-old Stephanie Ravensbergen said she turned out to support her aunt and uncle who have parked their semi in the streets since the beginning of the protest. She opposes vaccine and mask requirements, and said it's important for school children to be able to see their friends' faces and emotions. "We want the right to choose," Ravensbergen said. "We want the right to be able to do what everybody else can do." On the other side of the country, protesters disrupted operations at another border crossing between Surrey, British Columbia, and Blaine, Washington, but officials said it was not blocked. Border crossings in Alberta remain shut down as well. While the protesters are decrying vaccine mandates for truckers and other COVID-19 restrictions, many of Canada's public health measures, such as mask rules and vaccine passports for getting into restaurants and theaters, are already falling away as the Omicron surge levels off. Pandemic restrictions have been far stricter there than in the U.S., but Canadians have largely supported them. The vast majority of Canadians are vaccinated, and the COVID-19 death rate is 1/3 that of the United States. Householder reported from Windsor, and Gillies from Toronto. Associated Press writer Ted Shaffrey in Ottawa, Ontario, contributed to this report.